Oh, good morning. Hey, looks like a sunny day out there in southern West Virginia. Blue sky. Got a big chestnut tree outside my window here, my bedroom window, and I just see little spots of blue here and there. Old chestnuts in leaved out. But it's old John, Twist of World News. Yeah. There's probably people watch us and they just laugh and say, "Oh, crazy hillbilly trying to do something." Well, I mean, shoot, I've got a right to speak too. I realize we got liberals and socialists out there that people don't realize it, but they're actually wanting to cut your voice off. If you got something decent or honorable to say, they'll snuff you out. If you're going to speak, you better speak. You know, a thought on my mind today. Who is it among us that don't like regulation or rules or laws? Who is it among us that don't want an honorable justice served? Who is it among us that don't regard or respect the boundaries of right and wrong? Who is it among us that reject the boundaries of right and wrong in order to satisfy their unnatural desires, cravings, that want to satisfy their greed, even if it costs other people unjustly? Who is it among us that that are trying to tear down laws that protect the innocent, the honest, upright, and the helpless? Who is it among us that give their word of oath and then act treasonous toward that word? Who is it among us that twist and warp boundaries, that give the honest, the decent, the innocent his just due of what is his or hers, that deserve something good, something better? And they'll want to destroy that respect toward that end in order to give perversions and perverts what they want. Who is it among us that have a total disregard for godly moral essence and that would lie and cheat and steal for themselves and others? Who is it among us that would act like a modern day Robin Hood and say, "Well, we can this and that, and we can steal here, we can steal there, and everything will be fine"? I call it the Robin Hood syndrome. You know, Hollywood made millions upon millions of dollars under that concept of the Robin Hoods, and you know the heroes of westerns and of detective movies and all this stuff. But I see the thing about was Hollywood they done this stuff, and 99%, I'll give them a benefit of the doubt, 95% were actually perverts portraying an honest person, an honorable person. I'll give them a benefit of the doubt that 5% of them were actually decent. I'll give them that much. You know, Old Testament Bible, David said, "The wicked plot behind closed doors to capture my soul." What was he saying? He was saying the vile person is back there conjuring thoughts in his mind, or her mind. They're back there conjuring thoughts in their mind of how they can manipulate and take that which is mine rightfully. The schemer, the plotter, the conniver is trying to figure out how they can unjustly possess what is mine. And I'm sorry to have to bust your bubble, but if you look at these politicians, I didn't watch the debate last night. The Democratic, they can call it the Democratic political debate or whatever. They can call it what they want. But the Democratic Party is no longer the party of the American people. The Democratic Party is the party of Venezuela, of North Korea, of Russia, of China, of Iran, of Syria. They're no longer the party of the American people. It is literally pitiful. It is literally pitiful what is going on in these people. Do you realize David was speaking about them last night? The wicked plot behind closed doors to capture my soul. But see, they no longer plot behind closed. Well, they do. Here a few months back, there was a bunch of these so-called American Democrat Party people. They went to Cuba. And they partied down there in Cuba for a few days. But what do we find out? Actually, they went down there, they were getting their heads together. They were down there plotting behind closed doors to capture my, and your soul. They are no longer the party of the American people. If we look back in history, you actually find out the Democratic Party has been a mess all the time it's been around. The Democratic Party fought for slavery. Murderers and assassinators and all these people, they come out of the Democratic Party. You think about that one, baby. You think about that one. Abraham Lincoln wanted to free the slaves. A friggin' pervert Democrat kills him. Now you think about that. And some of you blacks, so help me, you need to wake up. You just freaking need to wake up. The Democratic Party is not fighting for you. Donald Trump has done more for you than the Democratic Party ever has. The numbers are looking better all around. I mean, I don't want to, I'm a Donald Trump fan. Yes, let's just face that. But I just need you to realize that the wicked plot behind closed doors to capture your soul. In the Old Testament Bible, when David was king, David had done a thing and had one of his generals killed, murdered, and took his general's wife after he had already laid with her and knocked her up. Well, he had the general killed, had him put on the front lines of a war to make sure he died. They put him up there and then withdrew. And he died on the front lines so David could cover up his sin. Okay? Now that's the way it went off. So David could cover up his so David could cover up his actions of being with another man's wife. He knocked the woman up, got her pregnant, then had the man murdered. But now David had a repenting heart too. David loved the Lord. He was still a man of flesh, but he loved the Lord. And he had gotten himself in Dutch. What really put it on him was when the old Nathan, the man of God of the hour, the prophet of the hour, comes up and he asks King David. He asked King David. He said, "What if a man done something wrong and then turn around and do another man wrong in order to cover up the first wrong, and had that man killed? What should happen?" David said he should be killed. He murdered, man, get rid of him. Oh, I can just about see the prophet Nathan sticking his old bony finger out at David, the king, this almighty king, and the man of God, Nathan, the prophet, sticks his old bony finger out and said, "You are the man." Oh, jeez, the men and women of God. But see, David had a repenting heart too. He screwed up. God caught his hand. God caught his hand. Well, he ends up taking this woman unto himself after her husband is dead and gone out of the picture by his word. And but they have a son. Then the son falls deathly ill. And David cries out unto God. But judgment had failed. Judgment had failed. David knew he had come up short. Judgment failed. The son died. They lost the child that was born illegally. They lost the child, and David said, I can't bring you back. But he said, I can go to be with you. Because he knew the child would be in the bosom of Abraham or in heaven. He said, I can't bring him back, but he said, I can get my act together and I can come to be with you. Now that was plotting. That was plotting by David behind closed doors against a righteous man, one of his generals, in the middle of a war. But David had a repenting heart. That's what God loved about David, was David's repenting heart. David wasn't perfect, but he knew that David loved him and that he would repent of his sin. But see, this is what I'm getting at right now. The wicked plot behind closed doors to capture my soul. The people loved David. David was a righteous man. He was still in the flesh. He wasn't perfect, but he was a righteous man in that he judged the people of Israel rightfully. That he ruled over the people of Israel rightfully, fairly, justly. But the thing about it is, my point is, we have people behind closed doors that are getting their heads together, that no longer believe in the boundaries of right and wrong. They no longer believe in regard and respect. They no longer believe in their oaths of office. They no longer push to keep the laws of justice and honor of this nation. They no longer want to keep the Constitution that ensures the American people that they have the right to voice and to also to fight for that right. Like I said, I didn't watch the Democratic debate last night. And I probably will not watch it tonight. Why? Because the Democrat Party no longer believes in the exceptionalism of America. They no longer believe in the individual freedoms and voices and choices of people. They no longer believe that you have the right to protect what is yours. They no longer believe in America. They have turned their back upon America. Today, right now, if justice is served, hundreds of members of Congress would be shot on international television as a sign unto the world that the American people will not uphold falsehoods and lies and treachery and treason. They will no longer uphold the garbage that fights against the individual. Those politicians would be shot. But see, that's the reason they want to take my guns. That's the reason they want to take your guns. That's the reason they don't want you to have the ability to resist. Because they are in trouble. They are in trouble. And if they cannot garner enough support, they're going to hit rock bottom, and they're going to hit it hard. And they know it. I've told you before. Glenn Beck showed a video of Van Jones. Now listen to me. CNN's Van Jones. We will either win or be crushed. Van, what was you up to? What did you get your little hands into, Van? I look at abortions. The attitude and the action of these liberals and socialists on abortions. It is literally unthinkable. Unthinkable. You know, there was a place that one writer in the New Testament, he said, man, I said, we don't even want our minds to go into the places these people, the wicked, live and think. We don't even want our minds going there. Now you think about that. We don't even want our minds going where these people live. Old Testament, God said you sacrifice the innocent, you shed innocent blood, and you persecute the righteous, and they resist you not. The minds of these liberals people, their minds are the minds of what I would compare to a rabid animal. Their minds now race. It's almost like they're in a race to see which one can come up with the vilest, most corrupt pattern of thinking before the other. People, so help me, I do wish you would share these videos that I make. I really do. I don't have the money to boost and make Facebook rich. I don't have the money for that. But I know what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about a political arena. I'm not talking about this and that. I'm talking about people that have actually plotted against you and your family. I'm talking about wickedness that was once plotted behind closed doors is now right in and open doing pep rallies against you and your family. They no longer hide their shames and disgrace. Their shame and disgrace is all over them, but they are no longer ashamed. What is wrong? What is wrong with these people? Listen, a few years ago, back in 2012, after the second term of Obama had been garnered, the election had just went through 2012, and just a few days or weeks after that, I'm just praying and God, you have to do something, just we need something. But I sat down to read my Bible one morning, and in my Bible I had little page markers, little pieces of paper tore off of corners of magazine page or a catalog page or a Magic Mark sale paper page, and I'd stick in there something I'd be reading that I'd want to go back to sometime because I'm listening. I'm listening. I'm receiving. I'm listening. I'm listening. I'm receiving truth. I'm receiving life from the life giver. But this particular morning, I went and I opened my Bible up, and I just opened up at a piece of paper after praying, God, just let me receive what you want me to have. And that was my prayer. God, let me know what you know, not what everybody else thinks. Let me know what you know. That's the way I pray when I read. But that particular morning, I opened up at a piece of paper. I didn't know where I was opening up because I didn't mark. I normally didn't mark. I'll put it that way. I normally didn't mark these pieces of paper. There might have been one or two had marks on them, something happened. But this particular thing, I didn't mark it. I just had it stuck in there. I had, I don't know, 6, 8, 10, 12. I don't remember. It's been, you're talking 7 years ago now. Well, 6.5. But I opened it up, and it was Isaiah 32, 5 through 8. And I began to read. Well, that was where I received, but I began to read at verse 1. Isaiah 32, verse 1, verse 2, verse 3, verse 4. Before I started verse 5, and so help me, listen to me. Before I started verse 5, it was as if God went, John, pay attention. Pay attention. And I started verse 5. And it was an eye-opener. It was an eye-opener for old John. And I read verse 5, verse 6, and I stopped. Those two verses blew me out of the water. And I'm thinking, God, what are you showing me here? I mean, what? It was a literal eye-opener, man. I went back later that day and read it again. Then within the days to come, I'd read it. But I eventually went on past verse 5 and verse 6, and I wrote 7 and 8. Well, 7 and 8 just took me a little bit deeper into what God was showing me in 5 and 6. 7 and 8 took me a little bit deeper. Isaiah 32, Old Testament Bible, verses 5 through 8. You need to read. You need to understand. You need to read. You need to understand. I'm not a politician. I am not a political. I am a Christian-based thinker. I believe in truth and honor. I believe in the essence that founded this nation within that truth and honor, because my forefathers were Christian thinking people. what we see going on now, people, in the Democratic Party, especially on the federal level. It's not just federal, because I see the same trash in the Charleston, West Virginia Gazette. Okay? The same trash comes through there as it is in D.C. and the Times and Washington Post and Democratic Party, that whole friggin' mess. The wicked plot behind closed doors to capture my soul. Do you realize that right now the Democratic Party in Washington, D.C. and the liberal socialist thinkers in Washington, D.C. that make up the Democratic Party and that are around this nation, the liberal socialist thinkers that are supporting the Democratic Party, do you realize that they are trying to nullify your vote? They're trying to overturn your legal vote through lies and treachery. Do you realize that? They are trying to nullify your vote. They're on the verge. If they can get by with it, they're going to slap the piss out of you and tell you to shut up. It's coming. So help me. If and when they get it, listen, if they're not cut off, if justice is not sought, and these liberals and socialists are not cut off of their path and get this stopped, it will make it. They will one day take America. But they have to be stopped today in order to save America. They blame America. You got these friggin' these entertainers. They got their head up their butt, each other's butt about this far, man. I'll tell you what. It is unreal what Hollywood's saying. Got friggin' perverts and idiots out there saying, oh, Byron Trump needs to be raped. Donald Trump needs to be on the prison and gang raped. And they talking trash about Sarah Sanders and Kellyanne Conway and Melania and the Trump family. People, my Lord, pay attention. Pay attention to what these friggin' liberals and socialists of Hollywood are saying. It's a friggin' sewer. The things that are going on in their movies, man, is on their lips and in their minds. In reality, the rot of their movies today is in their minds. And it's taking place in reality in their lives. It is unreal what these friggin' perverts are letting come off their lips. They no longer hide their shame, people. Why? Because the conscience is dead. The conscience has been manipulated and now it's crusted and it refuses to function properly. They're perverts. They're rabid animals with $1 in their pocket. Maybe you'll understand that. They're rabid animals with $1 in their pocket. Can you get your mind around that? You don't want to hear the pervert thing. You don't want to hear the wicked thing. You don't want to hear the unrighteous thing. Maybe you'll understand the rabid animal with $1 in their pocket. I've done a video here just the other day. Well, I'd done the video probably a week and a half ago. But I just put it on the internet 3 or 4 days ago, 3 days ago. Something like that. And I get a response from this woman. And this woman, it's just, John, you know how they reply, on Facebook. And they get this, John Davis, you need to shut up, you idiot. You make no sense whatsoever. You make no sense. Why do I not make sense? Is it because you don't understand what I say? Is it because my words elude your thinking? The understanding of my words are beyond your grasp? My words are not my own. I mean, I may word it out of my thinking or character or whatever. It may not sound exactly the way other people say it, but yet my words are not my own. My words support truth, honor, and justice, and life. My words support hope and security. You know, I was thinking about that before I started this video, a little bit before I started. I was thinking about that woman's response. John Davis, you are an idiot. You make no sense. Or shut up, you idiot. You make no sense. I think something like that. I could bring it up. But, and I was thinking about that, and I responded back to her, replied back, and I just put capital letters, poor child. But anyway, I was thinking there a while ago, I said, I wish I'd have just put it on there. Nicodemus, you're troubled over many things. And then let her hopefully run up on it again and read it and let it bear on her mind until one day someone bring that scripture out where Jesus is talking to one of the priests that knew that the power of the Lord was in Jesus' words. The power of God was in his words, but they didn't grasp it. They couldn't grasp or comprehend what Jesus was saying. And he said, Nicodemus, you're troubled about many things, man. He said, you need to be born again. You need to be born of the Spirit. That which is of the flesh, that which is flesh is of the flesh, and that which is of the Spirit is of the Spirit. Nicodemus, you're troubled about many things. You need to be born again. John Davis, you are an idiot. Shut up, you idiot. No, she didn't say you are an idiot. She said, shut up, you idiot. You don't make any sense. You don't make sense. Or something. Something like that. Is it because she just didn't understand the words of truth and essence? Yeah, that's what it is. These people, listen, the writers of the New Testament, they spoke of the carnal mind. It says the carnal mind is enmity with God. Said it does not understand the things of God, neither can it understand the things of God. These things are hidden. The things of God are hidden because they're precious. They're precious. They are as gold nuggets unto those that are dying of hunger and thirst. They're of gold nuggets. With a gold nugget, they could buy many meals. They could buy many drinks of water because they're precious. The truth of God is precious as gold, or even more precious. But see, these people, they don't understand that. The carnal mind does not understand the words of truth. After they let themselves go too long, after they let their mind race into the darkness, after their conscience is crusted and refuses to help in their thinking, only the Spirit of God can knock on the heart and say, hey, it's time to come alive. It's time to understand. Only the Spirit of God can redeem at that point. Now, I say some harsh things sometimes. I do. I realize that, but if more of you listen to truth and honor, maybe I wouldn't even have to open my mouth. The men and women and the sons and daughters of God could speak truth from the Word of God, and you'd repent, and understanding would be revealed unto you. Maybe that's why I got pissed off a few years ago about what was going on these politicians in Washington, D.C. and the trash that was being done. Nicodemus, thou art troubled about many things. The carnal mind is enmity with God. You know, John Davis, he knows nothing to his own credit. I give myself no credit to understanding what little I have. I give myself no credit. Because the credit didn't even begin till I said, Jesus, forgive me. I'm the idiot that screwed up. You hung on a cross for an idiot like me. But, people, the wicked plot behind closed doors to capture my soul. There are people that have abandoned their oaths, their word, their oaths of office, and they're trying to nullify your vote. They're trying to nullify your voice. They're trying to nullify your choice. They're trying to nullify the things that an individual has the right to do in America. Sunny, warm, getting a few years on me. I don't handle the heat as well. I don't handle the cold as well. Whew. Try not to complain. Hey, have a good one.